All right, guys, so we are here on Monday, August 31st, looking at the completion of Lesson 5. So on Friday, we read this entire text together and we discussed the two parts that should have been completed Friday. And that was the first section here, looking at the definitions of morals and philosophies, and then this first main idea section. And so we talked today about how morals means the ideas or habits of behavior that have to do with what is right and what is wrong. We then discussed strategies to come up with that answer. So we had people that access background knowledge. Some people already knew what that word meant. We had people look at the use of the word in the text and using context clues. We had some that plugged in the definition in place of the word to see if it made sense. And we had others that used the dictionary, which is one of our strategies. So whatever strategy works for you, hopefully you employed there and got the correct answer. Then we looked at philosophies and did the same thing. And we identified that philosophies are the personal values and rules that guide one in life. And we discussed strategies used there as well. All right, so then the next section, we were looking at the main idea and supporting details for the first part of the text. They gave us that the main idea is that myths are more than just tales of gods and goddesses doing impossible tasks on earth. And we had to come up with some supporting details, so looking for text evidence. The first one we identified is that myths can reveal morals, philosophies, and warnings. We also said that myths were written by wise men who shaped modern thinking. And then another piece of evidence is that myths give us information on how ancient Greeks lived and thought. So we looked through the rest of the note catcher together, and then I put people in breakout rooms to collaborate and work on the rest of this together. So a couple more sections that you need to complete. You are looking for the meaning for immortal and using whatever strategy you need to define that. But they have given us the word parts and meanings that you could use. We had another main idea to search for supporting details. Myths were used to teach lessons in ancient Greece. We went through this language dive together, where we broke down this sentence. After all, a lot of these stories tell tales of how human follies, stupidity, and even hubris get people in trouble. We looked up the word follies and identified it as making mistakes, foolishness. Then number 2 said, is hubris a positive, good characteristic or a negative one? We said that it was negative based on the other negative words in the sentence that we know, like stupidity and trouble. Then we looked up the meaning of hubris, and it's defined as excessive pride or self-confidence. And we came up with some synonyms just to make sure we were clear on the understanding there, which support the negative connotation that we suggested. We quickly talked through this part 2, looking at the transitional conjunctions after all and how it can have a different meaning based on how it's used in the sentence and where it's located. We have 2 more sections here. So they didn't provide a main idea for this section, so I provided that. And the main idea there is we can still learn a lot from ancient Greek myths, and you're looking for supporting details for that main idea. And then at the bottom, we have an exit ticket and 2 questions there. Now that you've read the entire selection and thought about main ideas and details, according to the author, why is ancient Greek mythology still relevant today? So answer that using complete sentences, please. And then number 2 says, what is the central idea of the entire text? Looking for the gist here. So if you were just going to give me a gist of that text, what would it be? The last part of lesson 5 is a making connections quick write. So in a text box, I would like for you to tell me what connections you can draw between the article and our novel, Percy Jackson, using text evidence to support your response and answering in 3 to 4 complete sentences, please. Whatever was not finished in class is homework and officially due by Friday.